My people, welcome back to your favorite U&I talk show with Louise UWACU. This week, my people, this person, she loves movies so much. She created an entire festival for movies. All right, my people, we're back. Louise UWACU in the house. Laurel K. Brown. What does the K stand for?
It stands for Kaylee.
Oh, okay.
I threw it in there because my last name is the same as a lot of other people's last names. So.
Yeah, like way too many Browns. Very nice. So you're a founder of this festival called Spectacular.
Cinema Spectacular, yeah. It started in 2014. I just got out of film school. I needed something to do. I needed a place to show like my newest or like my first independent short outside of school. And I started to like come up short with places that I could just like show it, whether it was for fun, it was just kind of in my, like for my budget, for my, like for what I wanted to do. What festivals could I show it at? You know, they were all very competitive. And I'm like, what if I just do my own screening? And so I started looking to people that I know, peers that had graduated previously. I know you're working on things. Do you want to show your most recent project with me? And that's kind of how it got started. So
wow, that's so amazing. Because, you know, most people keep pursuing and getting rejected.
Yeah.
So it's like you were like, well, I'm not gonna get rejected. I'm gonna start rejecting people.
So I've just added to the rejection files for people. But that's the really tough thing about film festivals is just the money that you can put into them and also the rejection that you face coming back. So this way, like we're a non-competitive festival and we don't necessarily pick films based on their like production value or like how much money they had. Like we prefer the things that have like a little bit of heart. They might not be shot on the best cameras, but like if the story's good, if there's some good like directing promises, like we like those projects.
Wow. So this year you have a huge festival happening. How many films do you have and what was the selection process? How long?
Well, we have 16 films showing with us from this year from 5 different provinces. And they're all short, so they range from about 2.5 to 15 minutes. And our selection process is my festival partner Alexander and I. We kind of split our submissions down the middle, and then we kind of pick. We start picking. We have our yes, I really love these, our like maybes, and our like probably nots. And once we have those yeses and maybes, we come together and we kind of see kind of what floats to the top. And once we kind of get 3 or 4 that we both really like, we kind of start building the program together. Because not only do we want our program to kind of represent the stories Canada has to tell, but we want it to be fun for an audience to sit through. Because like it's always fun going to see your own project at a theater, but sometimes it can be a little harrowing sitting through a lot of shorts as an audience member. So we want, like if you don't like one of our shorts, like the next thing, you know, we want you to like the next thing.
You definitely. So how many days is it gonna be, and then how many films per day?
It's actually just one day.
Just one day.
Just one day.
All the 16 films.
Yeah. Because they're so short, it's kind of divided into 2 halves. So we have a first and second program. And we've chosen to keep it one day just because there's so many film festivals in town that are a few days over a weekend or they're a week. And we've kind of chosen to, as we grow, we'd like to do something else. Like we thought about making like a traveling program, so maintaining our size, but kind of moving around the country with it. So,
So like people in Cowtown who are feeling a little bit left out.
And I'm from Calgary, so we have plans like first Victoria, try somewhere close, and then we'll kind of start going east. So
Very nice.
Really
so
excited.
do you have any of your films, or did you stop making films ever since you did the festival? Can you select your own film now? Because it will be like,
yeah, there's things that if I've worked on it, should I let it in? And so those are the questions I started asking myself this year, because the first 2 years did have films of mine. So I'm like, this is my festival, I can do what I want. But I'm like, no, that's probably not fair. And since my festival partner has come on board in the second year, I'm a little less biased. So I can always throw something to her and I'm like, is that not fair? Okay. So it's nice to have like someone to talk about it too. So,
yeah. Wow. So this is just Canadian. Like no Americans.
Yeah, just Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this because you realize that there's really not enough places for Canadian talent to be exposed?
Yeah, and like it often seems like there's a lot in Vancouver because they're like, the industry is booming, it's doing great. But ultimately a lot of the money and a lot of the creative is still coming from the United States. So I think Canada needs a lot of help kind of, incubating those talents, whether it's directors or cinematographers or actors or writers, to kind of get them in higher places. So we're kind of...
Okay, and then we're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, we're going to see which provinces are in, which provinces are out, if you maybe have films in French. All right, my people, we'll be back. U&I Talk Show with Louise UWACU. We love you, the authors, the musicians, the comedians, the entrepreneurs, and all other talented and inspiring people. Please contact info@uwacu.com to be a guest on the show. All right, my people, we're back. So I also love films, and I would love to also have a film festival. It sounds like so much fun, but it's also like so much work.
Yeah.
And so where did you get the money? I mean, it's already hard enough to get the money to do the films. Yeah.
It came out of my pocket. The first 2 years were self-funded, and we didn't make the money back right away. We still haven't made all of our money back, but we're hoping this is the year. We get closer and closer to our being in the black every year.
At least breaking even.
Yeah. And now my festival partner shares any losses or gains with me, but we do have sponsors that have, we've been gathering sponsors over the past 3 years, and they're kind of giving us a little more now that we've been around for a while and we seem to know what we're doing. So that's nice.
What about the government and the politicians? Isn't this something, this sounds like something that they would want to support?
Yeah, we're hoping to kind of expand into either a not-for-profit or kind of a similar thing next year, so we can apply for grants, because we know there's travel, arts travel grants, which would make it a lot easier to travel with our festival. So we're looking to expand into the grant government world next year, and I think that'll be our our step outside of our, coming right out of our pockets.
Definitely. So do these movies, even though they're made by Canadians, do they have to be shot locally? Because it's very local, right? You want to keep it local. And then do you have a set budget? If you've spent more than $100,000, you're not for our festival anymore.
Yeah. Our top line for budget is about $15,000.
$15,000.
And there's some wiggle room in there, since we're pretty new at it, and every year our rules seem to shake up a little bit, because there's always an exception. And you're like, well, we haven't thought of that before, so now we have to rewrite our rules. And this year we did have a lot of submissions that were either shot in the States or shot somewhere else. And so we had to think about, where do we draw the line? So we've decided it has to be shot here unless it's a documentary. So if it's a documentary made by Canadians somewhere else, that's great. But if it's a narrative short, if it's an experimental short, we like it to be made here.
So how short is a short? Because you always hear a short film, but how short does it have to be? Maximum of a short?
For our purposes, we don't accept anything over 15 minutes. I find a lot of shorts that are over 15 minutes. It can be hard to sit through sometimes, depending. But this, last year we had 2 shorts that were 45 seconds, and they were little animations. So we definitely like to program a range of lengths.
And your winner last year what kind of film had they made, and how did they benefit from being at your festival and then winning? Like, what did that do for them?
Well, we only give out one award at the festival, and that's the Audience Choice Award. And I started that 3 years ago. It almost just as like a statistical curiosity, like what are people liking the most? And so our winner last year was a mini film made while making a larger film that we had the trailer for in year 2.
Wow.
And it was called Sad Hill with Sad Hill. And it's 3 friends that traveled to Spain, and they wanted to revisit the site of where part of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was made. And it was very kind of personable, and I think a lot of people in the audience knew them as well because they were locals. So they were our Audience Choice winner.
Wow. So you guys are practicing democracy?
So a little bit. Yeah.
You actually let the audience choose? Is there like an election while the festival is going on the day of the festival?
We give out comment cards, and we ask everyone to say, like, what was your favorite? What did you like the best? And that's how that comes back.
Wow. And then from people's favorites, who gets to make the final decision about which one actually won the spectacular?
Yeah. Well, it's actually like, it's an audience choice in the strictest sense, that whatever gets the most votes from the audience gets the award.
No way.
Yeah.
This is like real democracy.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not just me like kind of pointing a finger and saying, that one's the best, or that one's the best. Because comparing films is often like comparing like tigers to like oranges to, you know, to anything. And that's why we don't give out awards at our festival, is because we have animated shows, we have music videos, we have feature trailers sometimes, like documentaries, narratives. Like, how can you pick the best when they're all so different? So.
Wow, I love the fact that anybody can win, and it's the audience really making the choice.
Yeah, yeah.
So do they win money?
Nope, they just win that title.
Very nice. But I think the simple fact of being recognized and your movie being liked by so many people and actually being chosen by the audience,
it's a good feeling.
Is a really great reward, you know? Wow, very nice. Okay, we're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about how to bribe some of you in order to win. U&I Talk Show with Louise UWACU. We love you, the authors, the musicians, the comedians, the entrepreneurs, and all other talented and inspiring people. Please contact info@uwacu.com to be a guest on the show. All right, my people, we're back. So you guys are incorruptible.
In some ways, yes.
There's no way of like, you know, campaigning for the audience for the movie to win. Like, the movie actually has to be liked by the audience.
Yeah, definitely to win, it's definitely up to the audience. To get chosen for a festival, it helps if you introduce yourself, whether it's through email or through Film Freeway, which is the platform we use to solicit submissions. It's nice, since we're a festival that kind of tries to champion the filmmakers alongside their films, we like to know the filmmakers as people. Like, what else do they do? Where did they go to school? Where are they from? And we have people from like all walks of life that end up making movies. They either do it professionally or, you know, they're making them on the weekends. So, yeah.
Do you have anything that says, okay, women in film, like for example, encouraging women, because there's not a lot of women? Do you have something like that? Or
yeah, we're trying to do more of that. And since it's just my partner and I, we're trying to find new ways to reach out to new communities. Because often, if you put out a submission call, you get a lot of the same kind of people submitting. So this year we tried to reach out to different co-ops in different provinces. Because since my partner and I are women, we did try reaching out to especially women in film and TV Vancouver. Like, our submissions call went out with them. And we're hoping to do even better with it next year.
Very nice.
You're still learning.
You know?
So, yeah.
So when you were growing up in Cowtown,
close enough to Cowtown. Yeah.
What was your dream? Like, did you think that when you grow up, this is what you were going to do? Like, what was your initial plan? And then what eventually led you to this?
I've always wanted to make movies since I was very young. And as a kid, like the only two roles in a film you're exposed to is actors and directors. So when I was really little, it was like, I want to act. And then when I discovered I could not do that, it was like, maybe like I'll direct. And so like I was put into film camps, and then I went to, I did my BFA in film production at SFU. And about halfway through that, I'm like, I don't want to direct, I want to do cinematography. And so that's what I've kind of been aiming towards since then. And the film festival just has kind of grown alongside that.
So cinematography is when you're doing the camera?
So it's like camera and lighting. Yeah.
Wow. So you actually know how to do the camera lighting.
Yes.
And you're the guy, the person who makes the image be beautiful for someone else's film.
Yeah.
Do you like to be working on your own project, or do you want people to bring you their projects and then you can do that?
I've kind of trended towards people bringing their projects to me and us working on them together. Like I used to write short films and try to make them, but I found I wasn't too great of a writer and I wasn't too great of a director, so I kind of found my home in cinematography, which is largely just like helping the directors and helping the writers who do have really good stories and have a really great passion, kind of bring their
Very nice.
Put it on film. So.
And then your partner, like, how do you do the business? Do you have like a team of business people who are telling you what to do?
It's largely just myself and Alexandra, who is my festival partner. She does a lot of the money stuff, a lot of the kind of hard business, because she's really great with that. I do a lot of the social media, the graphics, the soliciting from filmmakers. I do the poster design. I do most things. So, yeah.
Very nice. So where is this going to happen? Where is it happening? And then how much is it for people to attend? People who are now watching you and I are not going to get free tickets.
It's happening at our favorite theater, the Van City downtown, on Sunday, April 30th, which is coming up pretty quick. Tickets are $10 online and $12 at the door. So, yeah.
Which is very affordable.
Yeah, and we like to keep things affordable.
Yes, definitely, because it's for low budget things. So when you see other people who have a big budget, do you envy them? Like what is the really benefit of doing low budget things? Like, don't you do low budget until you have money?
Well, that's the dream. But it's really hard to get funding in Canada, because we kind of have our couple big places we can go to get money. Other than that, you're kind of making things yourself on the weekends. And once you get a bigger budget, you can pay people what they deserve. You can get better locations. You can get better costumes, better makeup, better visual effects. Like the money definitely like trickles down for your production value, but people can make great things for next to nothing. So, yeah.
Very cheap. Okay, so we're going to take a short break, and when we come back in the last segment, we're going to talk about your tips to people who are on low budget on how to make this happen, because I think that's everybody's problem. All right, my people, stay tuned. U&I Talk Show with Louise UWACU. We love you, the authors, the musicians, the comedians, the entrepreneurs, and all other talented and inspiring people. Please contact info@uwacu.com to be a guest on the show. All right, my people, we're back. So, advice for young people who are, or, like how to make a film on low budget, because you've done it.
Yeah.
Like, what's the budget, and what can you do,
I'd say if you're like writing your own projects, write for what you have access to. Like if you've got $100 and you want like a car chase and explosions, like that's, it's a big dream for a small amount of money. If you've got $100 and a couple friends, like write something in your backyard, write something in your favorite cafe. If you have people working for you for nothing, make sure they're well fed. That's a really good way to keep people happy. It's just good food. Other things.
So first, check how much money you have.
Yeah.
and then decide from that money, okay, we're definitely gonna do just.
Yeah, like what can we do and what kind of, it's always good to like ask questions. It took me a long time to get to the point where I'm like, asking questions solves a lot of problems. But it doesn't hurt to ask, like at the cafe, can we shoot here for free?
What's the lowest, like really, what's the lowest budget that you've seen? All the movies that have been submitted, like what is like the lowest budget? And you're like, oh my goodness, somebody made this and it was just 500 or, you know.
I'm pretty sure you've had some kind of technically $0 submissions. The more experimental ones are usually just one person going out with a camera and like finding something. And we've done a couple of those, so like 0 is the bottom. And then you can just go up infinitely from there. So.
And this year, what is the maximum amount of money that has been spent on your films?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know if I have that number. Not a lot. Nothing capped out at 15 grand this year. We probably have something. And 5 grand might be our 5 or 8, I think.
Very nice, very nice. And what are some of the mistakes that you have made or mistakes that you have seen other independent producers make that you would say, okay, young people or whoever is starting out, don't do this?
Well, there's so many. There's so many bad things you can do. But like as a film festival runner now, that's kind of having people like try to, you know, get into our festival. It's like introduce yourselves. Like that really helps. Like I know you, you know me. You know, tell me a bit about your film, like why you made it, and that'll make, like that makes me know them and makes them know us.
So you're telling these creators, don't be shy.
Yeah. Which is hard for shy people. I am a shy person, I understand. But that it helps, even just like an email. Yeah.
Introduce yourself. Don't be shy. Because I'm thinking that a lot of times if people are behind the camera, is because they really they like to stay in the back and be invisible. They don't want to be seen. So the process of accepting to go in front of the camera somehow and then having to talk about your film maybe or promoting your film, do you find that like a hard process for people who are behind the camera?
I find it's kind of 50-50. If you go with directors, some directors are actors themselves and they're super comfy being in front of the camera. A lot of producers are also really great at talking and just kind of, you know, pumping something up because they've gotten the money for a project or they've like sold it to someone. So it's kind of, it's hit or miss in that respect, I think.
So in the future, we're like almost done. What is your dream? Where do you see this going? Where do you want it to go? And are you considering that if you become successful, then you're gonna have to like go into higher budget and then low budget are gonna have to find a new festival or something?
I'm hoping we can keep with the low budgets, like no matter how big we get, because there's always going to be people making movies in their backyard. Making movies is super fun, whether you're doing it as a profession or like as a hobby. And I think my dream for this in the next 5 years is to be able to travel with it. So we'll have multiple screenings a year in multiple different provinces and kind of having a core program that incorporates kind of across Canada. And then we have region-specific programs that we can kind of showcase wherever we are.
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask you if you have some Quebec French films in this.
We have 2 films from Quebec this year. One is animated and has no dialogue, and the other, I don't believe has dialogue either. But we have had French films in the past, so.
Very nice. All right, Laurel, thank you so much for being
you so
here.
much. It was a
I will
pleasure.
definitely be checking it out.
Lovely.
All right, my people, if you're broke and you're still making movies, like don't be worried. You have a place to show your stuff now, okay? So right now you're broke, you're making movies, we got you. Spectacular cinema got you.